do that. But
yeah, maybe. Hey, everyone. So we're having some technical difficulties on my end. So I am Violette Ayala. I'm the founder of FemCity, and you're joining us today for our Monday Motivational Series. We're going to talk today all about how to stay connected to your goals. I've invited 3 of our FemCity Global members that I think are brilliant at this topic. If for some reason I lose connection, they're going to keep on going. I know these ladies well. They're amazing. So for whatever reason, I hop off because of Wi-Fi issues. Stay tuned, stay connected, because they're going to keep on going. Let's go really quick through the panel, even though I think a lot of our friends know you girls already. Let's go through the panel and just mention who you are and how you're connected to this topic of how to stay connected to your goals. Carey, share a little bit about yourself, please.
Hey, everybody, I'm Carey Conley. I am a speaker, an author, and a vision expert. What I really help people with is getting very, very crystal clear on what their mission and their vision and their purpose is for their life so that they can stick with their goals.
Awesome. And Carey's teaching a class for us coming up called Vision is Victory. So be on the lookout for that. It's a free class that we'll have for our FemCity members. And next up, Carol Ward. Carol, share a little bit about yourself.
Great. Thank you, Violette, and for this wonderful opportunity to join you and these wonderful ladies today. So I am Carol Ward. I'm a money mindset coach. I use my certifications as a CPA and NLP master practitioner to help my clients become leaders in both their business world and their personal life. I help these business owners manage their finances and their beliefs about money so that they can increase their sales, reduce missed opportunities, and become more confident. Thank you.
Awesome. And Carol runs one of our FemCity chapters, and she's often our money coach. So she's also a CPA, and we bring her in when we are talking about money. That's definitely her jam. And then let's go to Stephanie. Take it away, Stephanie.
Thank you. I founded my company, Sophia Financial, 10 years ago now. I am a financial planner. I really focus on working with women, taking a holistic view because, we're not naturally, human beings are not naturally good at money. Women are actually better than men, believe it or not. But, a lot of us don't have the confidence. So I work with my clients to get clear on their goals, like exactly what Carey was saying, and then find ways to put action behind them so that they have the dollars there when they need them.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Stephanie. Stephanie is also one of our FemCity Global members that we pull in when we're talking about money. All right, so let's dive in. We already have some Facebook love coming in, so thank you so much for joining us. By the way, if you're watching this months from now, whether it's on YouTube or on the Facebook page, reach out to any of us if you have any questions about goals or money, because all 4 of us deal with all those issues as well, or those challenges. So any questions you have, don't feel like you missed the opportunity to be a part of this conversation. We're here for you. All right, so why do we not stay connected to our goals? We are now creeping on to May, just about the halfway point of 2021. Many have already kind of lost track what their goals are. So this is a great time to review what you have going on, see where you're kind of missing the boat, and then figure out how to stick back to your goals. But why do we fall? What happens if we just we just disconnect completely when it comes to our goals? Carey.
Well, it goes back to vision, of course. Most people, when they set a goal, it's a very short-term should kind of goal instead of having a longer term vision of knowing what you want for your life and all things. So specifically what I do, Violet, is get people to think 3 years out and put dates on things, because most people don't think, okay, 3 years out, like how old am I going to be? How old will my kids be? And they don't get a real vision on what they want their life to look like really clearly in writing. So they've got what I call a hope and a wish and a prayer plan going on, right? The someday game. And that's why they don't stick to their goals, because it's not anchored in anything that is bigger than all the obstacles that they're going to face. So we've got to have the vision first. They've got to be really clear, written down with dates on it. Dream boards are beautiful, but most people just put up the pictures and then just leave it there and don't do anything with it, right? So we've got to have an anchor that you'll stick with, because like me, growing 2 businesses, I've met many, many obstacles and I've had to go through a lot of personal growth. And most people get stalled there. You're right, Violet. Most people, less than 8% of people who set goals in January actually achieve them at the end of the year. And that's because they're just kind of winging it.
Yeah. And by the way, you don't have to wait until December 31st. I think that's the other thing that we talked a lot about in January, is that you don't have to wait until January 1st to get to your goals. I mean, every day is a new day. And I'm going to pull out something that you said, Carey, and just kind of add some exclamation points on that, is the dates. When you have your goals and it's connected to a long-term vision of 3 years, 4 years, is having those dates so that you actually have something to shoot for. And it feels really good. When you have a date, like this morning, I was sending over our sales report to our CPA, and I was like, I'm going to give it to you within the hour. And so there's a kind of a date, like I've got to get it over within the hour. And it feels really good when I'm able to accomplish it. I mean, I kind of already had it done, but it's already like done and set forward, and you feel like, wow, I did it within that time frame. It actually gives you a little bit of a win, which inspires you and motivates you to keep on going into your goals versus just saying, I'll send it over whenever. It'll be there when it gets there. And I think that's, like you said, a lot of times the reason why many women fail when it comes to staying connected to their goals. Carol, thoughts on that question?
Yes, and I'm going to echo both of you on that. But the first thing I want to say is you've got to make your goal believable. You have to believe in your goals 100%, because if you don't, that's when the doubts and the obstacles will appear. So Carey, exactly. You got to make your vision so compelling and believable. It's almost like receiving a gift. You know that feeling when you receive a gift, you've got that feeling of happiness, excitement, joy. Well, what you need to do is pull that states back, pull those feelings back to where you are right now, so that you are feeling those feelings. Because you got to remember, our goal, it's not a destination, it's a journey. So we have to be in a state of enjoying where we are. So for instance, right now, I'm in competition with my neighbor that I'm going to do at least 10,000 steps a day. And I've got my watch to help me measure it. And so I've got a plan. Every hour I get up and I walk so many steps. But to make it enjoyable and make sure I'm enjoying this journey, I put my music on. And I'm dancing my steps, I'm walking my steps, I'm running my steps, but I'm enjoying my journey. So you've got to make sure that when you set your goal, have a plan and make sure you enjoy it. The second thing I will talk about is exactly what both of you ladies already mentioned, is that be prepared for the obstacles, because they will come, and have a plan in place. So for instance, I want to lose a little bit of weight because I got photo day coming up on Friday. So I have cravings for chocolate. So what do I do when I have those cravings for chocolate? I have my plan B. I've got my apple, my favorite fruit, ready and waiting for me. So whenever you set your goals, know there will be obstacles. Have a plan B. It's just like when you get in a car, you put your GPS on. You may run into obstacles. You don't know if there's going to be traffic jam, car accident. You need to have a detour. You need to have a plan B. So enjoy your journey and have your plan B. Thanks.
I love that. It reminded me so much. So Alyssa from our FemCity Global program also, she did a class for us, a 2-part class on manifesting. And a lot of it was about connecting that emotion side. So many of us will take on goals of other people, perhaps like, oh, Carey's got a goal of writing a book. You know what? I want to write a book. Not really, right? Just because Carey said it doesn't mean that it needs to be mine. So sometimes we take on other people's goals and we don't have any emotion connected to it because it wasn't really ours to begin with. It was just kind of like, well, that sounds good. I'm going to do that too, but you don't feel it. And so that emotion is not really kind of concreting in your activity and your engagement. And I want to mention another thing. I love that you mentioned, Carol, expect that you're going to fall off track. Expect that you're going to be tempted by that chocolate, like you mentioned, and preparing for that moment. Lee Tran, another one of our FemCity Global members, she had a great tip a couple months ago about writing a love note to yourself. Yes. So if you know that you fall off track a lot, then write a note to yourself to read in that moment where you feel like, and I'm going to use Carol's example, grabbing that chocolate, right? Or not walking, I'm going to Netflix instead of walking and instead of tracking my steps or whatever it is. But I love that, writing yourself a love note in your highest state of feeling, so that when you're not feeling so great, you can go back and read it and it says, I know you're going to want to quit. You know, I know you don't remember that you want to be on a sailboat in 3 years, and that's why you have to save money, or you want to get out of debt because that was going to make you feel so good. Whatever it is, to remind yourself through that love note. So love that, Carol. Thank you so much. And we have some more love that came through. Mary Rose says, anchor your goals. Dreaming is one thing, but believing is another. I know we all agree on that. Feeling the feelings now is so key. And she added, yes, anticipate and schedule for fires and bottlenecks. And understand it's going to happen, right? We're imperfect beings. I mean, it's going to happen. And then how do you redirect that to get back on track? Stephanie, same question for you.
Yeah. So on the question of why we get disconnected from our goals, I've been a little bit of a student of behavioral finance, which is the bringing of psychology and behavioral science into the field of finance and economics. And one of the things I learned, which was so fascinating, is that there's actually two different parts of your brain. You know, they do these experiments where they hook you up to the functional MRI machines, and they see what parts of your brain light up when you're thinking about different things. And if you're thinking about a reward in the present moment, it's one part of the brain. And if you're thinking about a future far off reward, it's a different part of your brain. And guess which one is stronger? The present moment one, right? So it's like not even a level playing field. And I read an article recently that said long-term planning is an unnatural act for human beings. That whole deferred gratification thing, like keeping something in sight, it's hard. So first of all, I think we should not beat ourselves up for the fact that it's hard, because it's science, it's biology, right? That's just kind of how we're built. So we do have to trick ourselves. We have to find these hacks and these little tips and tricks, like everybody's been saying, to make ourselves kind of do this unnatural act of the long-term planning and sticking with the long-term goal.
I love that. And I love that aspect, Stephanie, you always bring to the table when it comes to that scientific behavioral aspect of humans, that we're not conditioned for that. And so that gives yourself the permission to allow grace to come in, right? So that you're not being so angry with yourself, that you're not like, you know what, I'm another failure because I didn't stick to my goals. And here it is, almost May, and I'm such a loser. To recognize, you know what, my predetermined makeup is that I don't do that. So give myself some grace and then get back on it and
Totally.
Yeah.
It's not a character flaw at all.
Yeah, it's part of it. I love that. All right, so let's go ahead. I know some of the femmes, these are great tips. We already have some Facebook users saying great tips that have come in. So what is your number one tip? And I know Carol shared a couple already. What is your number one tip for femmes that want to stay connected to their goals? Perhaps they're feeling a little bit let down. Maybe they're saying, okay, you know what, I'm coming into that May. That's me. I'm starting to feel a little bit like not so love for myself. Carey, what would you say to them?
Well, once I get people to write their vision, Violet, we start talking about what are the real obstacles. See, here's the problem. They write a vision and a big goal, and they don't get to it because there's usually a wall between where they're at and where they want to be. And the wall are sometimes excuses or things that they claim as outside circumstances for why they're not getting to the goal. The two biggies usually are I don't have the time and I don't have the money, right? But here's what I get people to do is to understand that those are not the real obstacles. The real obstacles is what's going on up here. All the stories that you are telling yourself that you believe to be true for you that are not true. So we have to identify the real obstacle and then work on goals to hit that. So we have to get to where we go, okay, the real obstacle is that I have a belief that because nobody in my family has ever made money, I'm not going to be able to make money either. So instead of setting a goal for I'm going to make 100,000 this year and not getting anywhere near it because you've got that belief, right? What we have to do is set some goals to break down that wall. So we start setting some baby step goals like, all right, how can we change that belief? How can you go to work at getting rid of that story and changing it into something that is real and true for you, that is a positive thing, so that that wall goes away and you can get to the goal? Does it make sense?
Totally. And I think that there are lots of walls. That's the other thing that I know you talk a lot about, Carey, with the work that you do, is that sometimes you get over that wall and then you're like, that's it, I'm good. Everything's going to be roses, right? It's like, no, it's like you will always, and I love, by the way, you're such an incredibly successful person. I love that you shared at the beginning you're still going through some evolutions in these businesses that you're launching. I mean, there's always this evolution, no matter how successful you are or are going to be or have been and will be again, whatever that story is. I love that you're sharing that. It's just a constant. And once we recognize that, I think it makes it a lot easier for us to re-believe in ourselves and keep on moving forward.
Truth. Yes. Thank you, Violet.
Thank you. All right, Carol, I know you shared already some tips. Do you want to share another one or maybe reemphasize one that you shared already?
Actually, I want to tag on to what Carey said because it was so powerful what you said, Carey. And I just want to add, we're in this pandemic situation. So we're in Canada, Ontario. And once again, we are in our third shutdown. But what I want to bring up here is how quickly people can adapt and get over those walls. Because when we were pushed against the wall, people had to quickly pivot. And they found it within themselves that they can do it. So those excuses of all those walls, that's exactly what it is. You are so right. They are just excuses. Because pushed against the wall, we can change our behaviors, our beliefs in a second. And we proved it. We did it. The one thing I want to also share today is review your goals daily, right? Be like an athlete. What does an athlete do? An athlete goes out and practice. And by doing that practice, they're building stamina, they're building strength, and they're looking at different options of playing the same game. So if we did that, if we stay focused every single day on our goals, make any adjustments along the way. Goals are flexible. We're human beings. We change every day. I'm not the same person I was yesterday because I looked at a conference on the weekend. So who I was last week is not who I am today. And my goals have changed. I am now reading a John Maxwell book, which I didn't think I was going to be reading this week. So our goals change. So be flexible and be open to new options and new play. And I think just being in that growth mindset will definitely help you to stay connected to your goals. Thanks.
Love it. And you know what, you guys are reminding me. So Lisa Price is a woman that I've always admired. She's the founder of Carol's Daughter. And today her Instagram post, I'm actually going to reshare it on the FemCity one, now listening to all of you. And the post is something like, you know, I didn't have Wi-Fi, but I created. I didn't have money, but I created. I didn't have this. So it's a whole list. And the truth is that when we have that mindset, when we're so connected to our goals, it doesn't matter the lacks that we have around us. We figure out a way to move forward. We figure out, you know what, I don't have paper. Let me create it anyway. I think it even had like, I don't have a logo, created it anyway. So just that kind of that wall, recognizing that there are always going to be walls and pushing through is what all of us have in common. At least in our world, in our circle. Maybe there's someone out there that I'm sure they had everything given to them. So this does not apply to them. Stephanie, going to you.
So I'm going to share a tip that I think ties into several of the points that we've made here today. And I've borrowed this from Danielle Laporte, whom I adore. She talks about getting clear on your core desired feelings. So, you know, as a financial planner, a lot of people come to me and they say, I want to retire at this age, or I want to buy a beach house, or, you know, it's the things that they're kind of attached to. So I try to dig a little deeper and like, what is it about that thing or that date? What is it? And I like this idea that if you can get clear on how you want to feel, how do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning? How do you want to feel when you're living your life? That allows us to be flexible. As Carol said, it allows us to get in touch with our future selves and where we'd like to be in 3 years, as Carey said, right? And it allows us to really bring in kind of that touch point of the feelings part, right? Like that point that Violet was making. So if you can kind of come up with, and again, this might change, but all right, I want to, in my business and in my family life, feel exhilarated, of service, and strong. Right? Those are some of the ones that I've been playing with personally. Then that kind of, you know, if I'm looking at that every day, maybe there's new ways that come up that I could feel those ways that I hadn't thought of. So I again, borrowing it from Danielle Laporte, but I find it super helpful.
Love it. Love it. And there's a lot of love that came through. So let me just take a break and read these real quick. Mary Rose said she's got to drop off. Thank you, ladies, for the reinforced tips on setting and staying on top of goals. I think Mary Rose is in Atlanta. For some reason, California is coming to my mind, but I think she's an Atlanta femme. Lisa Solomon in Texas, such great information, ladies. And then Linda all the way up in Toronto. She says all about the feels. Absolutely. So we're starting to wrap up. Again, if you're watching this later on, feel free to add comments, tag, ask questions. The conversation continues. We want you guys to hit all your goals by the end of 2021. That's the date. Going back to one of the tips, a date that we've set there. So Carey, what final advice like to those femmes, and also how can femmes find you to learn more about the work that you're doing in this world?
Well, my final advice is always to take the time to write the vision first, because if you are struggling or you feel like you're getting behind or whatever, I pretty much can guarantee that almost everything that we struggle with is because our vision is not big enough. So we have to take the time to do that. And obviously that's my work. So you can find me through my website, which is just careyconley.com. I also have a free download that you can get when you text the word now. You get my 5 tips to live your dream life starting now. So just you text the word now to 26786. And I have a free Facebook group, Vision Driven Life. So you can find me all the things everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carey. And Carol, your final tip and ways that femmes can find you, learn more about the work you're doing in this world.
So my final tip is exactly what Carey said. Take the ideas, take the goals out of your head and write it down on a piece of paper. I've got my book here. Every night it's filled up. It's filled up with looking at my goals, reviewing my goals, because if it stays in here, might be a chance it might be forgotten, might be overlooked, deleted somehow. So take it out, take your goals out of your head, write it on a paper. And the way you can reach me, I am on Facebook as Carol Ward. I'm also on Instagram as Carol Ward CPA. Thanks.
Love it. And I love also the tip of writing it down with the date. I'm just going to bring it out one more time, and reviewing, because I think, Carol, you had mentioned that, reviewing it every day. And what I love additionally to that tip that you shared is that when you review it and you say, okay, as an example, for me, my goal is to have partnerships with other organizations around the world, right? So that's my goal. I look at my action steps. Well, how many organizations did I reach out to? How many people did I, where is the work that I put in order to align with that goal and to hit it? And if you're doing it every day, it doesn't sneak up on you December 31st when you're thinking about 2022, right? So I love that tip so much. All right, Stephanie, final tip. Oh, Carol, did you mention how to find you? Oh, you did. Okay.
Yes,
sorry.
I did.
Okay. I'm still a little vaccine fogginess. So I was like, I just want to make sure you had gotten a chance. Stephanie, your final tip, and also how can femmes find you, learn more about the work you're doing in this world?
Sure. One of the things I always recommend around the money stuff, because, it's an area that it's still not polite to talk about, which is crazy. And, for better or for worse, a lot of our goals might be tied to money in some way. Find yourself a money buddy. Find yourself an accountability partner, someone with whom you can be completely open about the goals, the dreams, the vision, the feelings, and the dollars and cents, if that's a part of it involved, right? Whether it's a coach or a financial planner or your best friend or someone you can talk to. That's, I think, a super helpful to have someone else to check in with. I am at Sophia Financial as my company, SOFIA, which means wisdom in Greek, by the way. SophiaFinancial.com. I'm Sophia Financial on all the social medias, and I have a podcast for women called Take Back Retirement.
Love it. What a great conversation. And the last love that we got. Thank you. Love this going deep. It always comes back to your why. So thank you so much, ladies. Again, femmes, we hope that this helps you. Let us know. We can't wait to hear about how you reached all of your goals and kind of started moving forward in that direction starting right now. And to learn more about FemCity, for those that are not a part of FemCity, visit FemCity.com. We invite you to try it out for 30 days and give it a spin. And we will see you guys back here. Not this Wednesday, but next Monday. I think our conversation is about how to expand your brand. So we're going to dive into that topic as well. If there are any other topics that you need us to cover, you know how to reach us. Wish you guys a great week. See you on the next week. Bye.